I'll never forget finding out I was pregnant. It's like the world stopped as I'm looking at that pregnancy test, especially because I came from the family I'd come from.
Jessica Rexroat grew up in a family that was in church every time the doors were open. She had just graduated high school and received her college acceptance letter.
I think at that point I hoped that I would have died. I just couldn't imagine anything worse than telling my parents, who had taught me all these years, you know, the sanctity of the marriage bed.
But Jessica hadn't listened to her parents for years. The separation between her and her family started when she was abused by a cousin.
There was confusion, and slowly there was anger that built up, and resentment that built up, and secrecy and shame. Those things started piling on, and so secretly closed down and started pulling away from the family.
The emotional wounds of the abuse sent Jessica into a deep depression. In addition to being promiscuous, she began cutting herself.
My cutting marks go all up and down my arm, and there's some on my legs, but they slowly progressed. I would use scissors, I would use knives, I would use box cutters, I would use glass. By then, I was cutting to the point of if I died, that was okay.
Shortly after she gave birth, Jessica's depression worsened. Her parents gained guardianship over her daughter. Jessica was diagnosed with bipolar disease.
I got hospitalized 5 times, cutting on myself. I think at one point I was on like 9 different medications. Would have a job, would lose a job, would have a job, would lose a job, moved from home to home. I was married 3 times within an 8 or 9 year period. Hopped from relationship to relationship, would grasp at some sort of semblance of a normal life. I think that's kind of what the marriages were about. I knew I wanted stability and structure and love and some normalcy. I was empty.
After her 3rd marriage dissolved, Jessica was out of places to go. She was 30 years old when she moved back in with her parents.
But my sister was also still living there. And we had these great nights of her laying in my bed with me, just hanging out and talking to me.
Jenna shared Christ's love with her older sister.
It wasn't a faith that she had to walk around shaking her finger, or she had to get in my face and talk to me about it. She didn't need to preach to me. She just loved me and then lived her faith in front of me and never forced it on me.
I think I loved my sister without even realizing it, just because she's my sister. And so I think through my curiosity of what her life was like, we kind of formed a relationship that I then began to maybe more intentionally love her, because I started to realize and recognize what it was that she needed.
Jessica went to church services with her sister.
There was this energy there, and there was this warmth and this love, and there was this openness. There was an acceptance of everything. I didn't walk into that group of people as a single mom with 3 marriages under my belt, and I wasn't afraid of these feelings of judgment. They all just, their arms were open, and they wanted to listen and love and just live their lives next to me. So that was the low, and that was the turning point, is Jenna bringing me into a whole new view of what Christianity and faith really was.
The 2 sisters attended a baptismal service one Sunday evening.
I literally felt this tightness in my chest, just like the hair standing up on your arms, and there was this undeniable pull.
Jessica knew she was ready to commit her life to God and be baptized.
I don't think I have been that excited since then. When I came out of that water, I put my hand in there, I was like, woo! Everybody laughed, but for me it was a celebration. I understood that as I came up, I was a brand new person, really. Not just figuratively, not because I'm gonna follow rules, not because I'm gonna go to church now, but because He will change my heart. He will change the brokenness, to take it away.
Over the past 8 years, Jessica says she has been healed from the wounds of the past. She married again, and her husband Fred became a Christian as well. She had a second chance at parenting both her daughter and their son. And Jessica's relationship with her parents is restored.
I think those people that are broken and angry and lost and hurt and had terrible, unbelievable, worse things than me happen to them. And they hear messages of Christianity and faith. I want them to know that it isn't pretty talk, that it isn't just words, and that the idea of being saved or born again or being made new again, that that's not figurative speech, that it literally happens, that it's not a process of counseling, that it's not medication in your hand, that it is a true renewal and healing. You can have knowledge about Christianity all day long, but it's the faith that's the key. Once you have that faith, those promises come true.